Hey everybody, welcome to Industry Headlines. Kevin Kaufman and Fred Weaver here with you, and this is our show. Can we call it a show?
It's a show.
It's a show.
It's a thing
where we talk about the last 7 days in the real estate industry headlines. So here's the headlines for you. Zillow President Greg Schwartz to leave company at end of year. That's another Zillow shakeup. Bungalow and iRenter went out and grabbed $47 million to scale their co-living business. And First American Financial, the, I believe, second largest title company in the country, has announced the launch of a new standalone company called Endpoint.
Yeah. So,
there you go.
All right. So let's start with Zillow, because it's a big deal. Greg Schwartz leaving the company. He joined Zillow 12 years ago, right? 2007. And he has.
I bet he owns a little bit of stock.
I mean, he probably owns a few shares. So he's the president of media marketplace, 12 years with Zillow. Like, think about how big of a company they've become over the last 12 years. He's stepping down. So, a lot of folks in the industry are going, oh, okay, that's a big deal. What's going on? My take on it, for what it's worth, is it's just simply another step in the new direction of the new Zillow and where they're going with the iBuyer model, and the fact that it's becoming a different company than it was. Not right or wrong, good or bad. I actually think it's probably strategically very smart for them.
So part of me would say this could be due to Rich Barton, right, stepping back
to
the role. But fact check here on me. Maybe we need to look this up later. You can fact check us. But Barton, sort of was the face of the company, probably.
Well, Barton was the
originally. So he's worked with Greg Schwartz, is my point. So he's not coming in and getting rid of an old regime. Like Greg Schwartz has been through lots of different faces.
Yeah, no, I think the reality is Barton and Raskoff and one other guy, I can't think of his name right now, were the co-founders. And Schwartz has obviously been there for a long time, so through multiple reigns, if you will, from CEO. But I think this is a big sign, though, in the direction of Zillow.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the leadership, because Barton's trying to bring in his guys. I think it has more to do with, hey, the company's strategic future plans are probably more in alignment with somebody different, and that could just be pure speculation. Maybe Schwartz is just tired and ready to step down.
There's either a statement or an article I read said that his oversight will be shuffled amongst other current leadership in the company with no plans to replace his role. So for what that's worth,
right,
nobody knew coming in.
Right.
Anyway.
Who knows?
Tell us about Bungalow. What is an iRenter?
Man, I'm not even sure I know what an iRenter is.
I think I'm just gonna put the word "I" in front of everything from now on. I mean,
what will we come up with next? Like the I.
This is our I show. This is an I show.
But so Bungalow expects to lease 12,000 units to 12,000 tenants by the end of 2020. So what they do, they go in and they buy these companies.
Yep.
They put together co-living situations, right? So they're renting out individual units as opposed to like an entire unit.
So they lease single family homes and then they rent out the rooms inside single family homes. Sort of sounds like people that buy rental houses around college campuses and then sublease individual rooms out to people. So I mean, it has some Airbnb, you could obviously rent the whole place.
Exactly.
You can rent a room, but the entire residence is investment property.
Now, from what I understand about the company, and I don't know this for a fact, but having done some research on them in the past, I don't believe they're just strictly single family rentals, right? That they just divide into. I think they do some multifamily stuff, some bigger buildings, even apartment type stuff. So regardless, yes, that's the concept, is they're coming out. I think of Dolph DeRoos when you mentioned that. I'm
Dolph DeRoos, wow.
Buying.
We're gonna talk about Carlton Sheets today too.
We might. So, but listen, this is really taking those concepts and now going. These companies are going, how do we do that at a bigger scale, right?
Yep.
Using technology and some of the things that we know. So interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, investors gave them $47 million in this latest round of funding to grow their business, right? There's something around 3,200 tenants so far, it's a 2-year-old company. And now they're saying, hey, by the end of next year, we're going to almost quadruple that. It's a big jump.
Yeah. All right, onward to my favorite story of the day here in Industry Headlines. First American Financial, a provider of title insurance, opens Endpoint, a new standalone company. So it is a mobile first, is what they're describing it as, title and escrow company that is going to reimagine the closing experience for buyers, sellers, and real estate agents. So first of all, I'll tell you what they're going to do here in a second, but I just find this very interesting. It sort of feels like Quicken Loans Rocket Mortgage, where it's like they launched Rocket Mortgage, right, to be like more mobile friendly, right? And then like it's become the thing for Quicken. Like it absolutely leads their revenue. This sort of feels like that. Like they don't want to just completely overhaul all of First American. So we'll create another company under another name to reimagine it. But you can actually like complete your documents in an app. Earnest money can be transferred digitally instead of like only wires and checks. And you can have e-signatures. Like how long have all of us been going to closing appointments wondering when the heck we could just e-sign this crap instead of always having to have a notary and all this wet signature stuff. So, I mean, I applaud them. I'm excited to see where this goes. I absolutely think there's probably others in the industry already doing this or heading this way, but like, I applaud it.
I think it's a big deal that First American went out and said they're going to basically try to disrupt their own model, which I think is really, it's funny. Actually, Spencer Raskoff, who former CEO of Zillow, who we mentioned earlier, I follow him on Instagram, and he had done a podcast or interview with a couple of folks at the Harvard Business School, and he was talking to like one of the co-founders of Hulu and someone else who was involved, maybe co-founder as well, or early on. And he talked about how like that was originally, it was funded, it was NBC and Fox, and then Disney came into the deal. Like they were then trying to shake up their own industry as well.
Interesting.
So pretty interesting stuff, and definitely a sign of First American going, okay, things are changing. There's a lot of other kind of these newer closing companies, these mobile type closing companies that are starting to get out there. Like, how do we get out in front of this as well ourselves? So we can essentially, if we're going to be disrupted, why not still be able to stay in the space?
I would love to see them go to the extreme of, instead of just being mobile first, actually being virtual. Like let's go all in. Like if we're going where everything's going, like let's go all in. Let's use Verbella. Let's use a company like them to run our operations and have our staff actually working virtually. Like if we're gonna go mobile, right? If we're gonna say we're gonna provide all these services, like you think of all the title office space around the country and how much that has to cost and how much that has to drive up the cost to the end consumer, right? And all the perks that they pay agents and all that kind of stuff. Like I would love to see this be completely virtual. I don't know, maybe that's in the books. I have no idea.
Who knows what the future will bring, but my guess is like this is probably that step.
It's pretty cool
towards it. So.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining us for Industry Headlines today. Join us again next week and we'll look back at the previous 7 days of what's happened in the real estate industry and talk about all the exciting shakeups.
Take it easy.
All right.